Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to be solving questions on the composite of functions and the inverse of functions. Okay, here is a question. It says if f of x is equal to 1 on 8 into x minus 3 and g of x is equal to x cubed, then we are to find f inverse of g inverse of 1 and f inverse of f inverse of 6. And here we are also to determine whether f and g are inverses. Okay, so let's go. Let's start with the first one. Let me just write down the functions. It said f of x is equal to 1 on 8 into x minus 3 and g of x is equal to x cubed. Okay, so first we are to find f inverse of g inverse of 1. So remember I said there's another way to write this in order to make us understand better. So we can also write this as f inverse into g inverse of 1. But wait a minute, we don't know f inverse and we don't know g inverse, so this takes us back to our inverses. Now we need to find the inverse of f and the inverse of g. So let's take the first one. We need to find the inverse of f of x. So remember I said to find the inverse there are steps to follow, but here I'm just going to be doing them. So I said let y be equal to 1 on 8 into x minus 3. So here we are to make x the subject of the formula. So here we're going to cross multiply and we're going to be having 8y equal to x minus 3. So this is what we have. But remember we want to make x the subject of the formula. So we are going to take x this way and take y this other way. So from here we are going to have minus x equal to minus 3 minus 8y. So this is not the end because our x here is not yet alone, it has a negative number. So here we are going to divide both sides by minus 1. So this will quickly cancel here and we are going to be having x equal to 3 plus 8y. So that is what we're going to be having in that case. Okay, so here this is it. We are going to have f inverse of x is equal to 3 plus 8x. So remember I said we substitute y with x. So this is what we have. We have our first one. So now we need to look for our g inverse of x. So again we say y is equal to x cubed. Y is equal to x cubed. And to simply make x the subject of the formula, we just cube it. Cube both sides, that is it. And we are going to have x is equal to the cube root of y. So this is it. Now we are just going to say g inverse of x is is equal to, replace y with x, is equal to the cube root of x. So here we have it. Remember, our question said we need to find f inverse of g inverse of 1. So now we need to substitute 1 into g inverse. So our g inverse is the cube root of x. So now to find our f inverse of g inverse of 1, we substitute 1 into g inverse. So now we have the cube root of 1, which is still 1. So our g inverse of 1 is 1. Okay, so now we take the results and substitute it into our f inverse function. So what was our f inverse? Our f inverse is 3 plus 8x. So we take 1 and substitute it. So we have f inverse now of 1 is equal to 3 plus 8 into 1. Now we have 3 plus 8, which is 11. So f inverse of 1 is 11. So this is it. So therefore our f inverse of g inverse of 1 is 11. Easy, right? So let's take the second question, which is f inverse of 6. So we already know what our f inverse is. So remember, I said to simplify this, to take f inverse first and then f inverse of 6. So we do this first and then we substitute everything. So now let's have our f inverse of 6. So here we have, what is our f inverse? Our f inverse of x is 3 plus 8x. So sorry, let me just write it down here. Our f inverse of x is 3 plus 8x. So this is it. So now we have f inverse of 6, which is 3 plus 8 into 6. Remember, you are substituting the 6 with x. So we have 3 plus 8 into 6. Now this is 3 plus 48, which is 51. So this is simply our f inverse of 6. So now we take this result and substitute it into f inverse again. This is, oh sorry, that is 5. So now we have f inverse of 51. So we substitute it in this. So now we have 3 plus 8 into 51. So here what we are just doing, we are just breaking everything down. We break them down to easy solve them. So here we have f inverse of 6. This was the first one. We did this first and then now we are doing everything. So we did f inverse of 6 and it gave us 51. And now we are going to substitute it again into the function. Okay, so now we're going to have f inverse of that 51. So our f, okay, our f inverse of x is this 3 plus 8x. So we are going to replace 51 with x in the f inverse of x function. So we have 3 plus 8 into 51. Yes. And now this gives us 408. So this is 3. This is 3 plus 408. And this gives us 411. So now we can conclude that our f inverse of 6 is equal to 411. So that is it. So yes, that is it. So we were just breaking them down into parts to solve it, and now we have our final answer. And let's now go to the second question. The second question says, determine whether f and g are inverses. So let me just write the f. Let me write this again down since, okay, our f of x is 1 on 8 into x minus 3, and our g of x is x cubed. Okay, so now to determine if they are inverses, remember I said f of g of x should be equal to x, and also g of f of x should also be equals to x. That is the situation. So now let's have the first one. Let's have f of g of x. So now let's have it. Remember, now we have g of x, which is x cubed, and so we are going to replace g of x with x in the f of x function. Okay, that looks complicated, that sounds complicated, but it's very easy. Okay, so we are going to have 1 on 8 into x cubed minus 3. That is it, and this simply gives us x cubed minus 3 on 8. That is what we have. And now this is simply our f of g of x, which is x cubed minus 3 on 8. And as we can clearly see, this is definitely not equal to x. But anyways, let's take the second case, which is g of f of x should be equals to x. So let's have g of f of x. So remember, this should be equal to x. So let's substitute. So we have 1 on 8 x minus 3, all that cubed. So that is what we have now. And as we can clearly see, this is definitely not equal to x. So here we can conclude that they are not inverses. Sorry. That is what we have. So this is simply all that we have, and we should remember to follow the steps carefully and know where to apply what and in any time. Okay, That's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching this video, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video.